Hello and welcome back to the Loyal Sons Show. That's at the Loyal Sons, wherever you get your social medias. Follow us here, follow us there for Pitt sports content you will not want to miss. If you love seeing West Virginia face plant in a Mac town and hate West Virginia, this is the place for you. Loyal Sons Show, a safe, sunshiny place for your Pitt athletics fix. Squid and Dylan, thank you for joining today, as we always do here on Sunday morning after a big Pitt victory. How are we feeling after Pitt really just kind of snuffed out a pretty mid-Central Michigan team?
Feel pretty good. That was, for I would say probably 52 of the 60 minutes, a really solid performance, what you look for against the MAC team. They had us nervous for a little bit. We were starting to get a little pissed off, but they cleaned it up quick. And I think we all kind of agreed at the end of the game, like, okay, that was fine.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a blowout. We were wondering how ugly it would get, and then it went the opposite direction. So that was a scare, but I'll be here to give the positive spin on that. Team faced adversity. You need that. And within like 30 seconds of it being a one-score game, it wasn't anymore. And then we were fine.
Yeah, so Pitt won 45-17 against Central Michigan. That score is not at all reflective of the game that I think we watched. Dylan, as you referred to, there was about an 8-minute period. Eli Holstein threw a bad pick, and then for the last minute of the first half and first 7 minutes of the second half, Pitt just kind of turned into the village idiot. So
I was a bit more optimistic. I know people are like, uh-oh, like they could make it a one-score game. But our defense was playing so good, I wasn't all that worried. And then they picked up a couple fourth downs, third downs, and punched it in. And I was like, oh, damn it. I look stupid now. And it did happen.
Yeah, they were trying to run the ball. They did not have much success whatsoever running the ball. I believe they finished with 41 carries for 40 yards on the ground. Now that's including some sack yards and whatnot. But Pitt really kind of had it buckled up. It was that pick that Eli threw near the end of the half that gave them a short field. And then it looked like they were going to keep them from scoring anyway. And there was a procedural penalty, too many men on the field. Narduzzi probably should have burned his last time out. So there was a few mishaps there. So it was just a really ugly ending to the half to make it closer than it should have been. And then Central Michigan came out and struck first in the second half, made it a one-score game. But yeah, like you said, Squid, the positive spin on that is they responded to adversity. Kenny Johnson immediately had a big kick return. And 2 plays later, Poppy Williams was in the end zone scoring a touchdown. And then they never looked back from there. So, yeah, I think, honestly, David, I think the score was kind of reflective of that game. If you just look at it from the final score, like they did kind of dominate. A 28-point win feels right. But there was a period of that game for probably, well, with how long college halftimes are, about an hour that I was nervous that we were.
An hour of real time, yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be potentially leaving the stadium yesterday very unhappy.
The story of both games so far would be awesome if Eli didn't make that one pass.
Yeah. But I mean, you can't hate on the guy. I think that one pass aside, and he had just getting into that play a little bit further. He stepped up in the pocket, found some room, saw his tight end running over the middle for what would have been like a 30, 40-yard gain, and just took a little bit too much off the ball. The linebacker Kwiatkowski made a really nice play on it, was able to get up on it. It was a bad play, not a bad decision, but a bad throw. Outside of that, Eli looked phenomenal. Really, yeah. I mean, just looked super crisp all game.
Yeah, that was the Holstein interception that will absolutely keep me up at night. the Hatakmon, if you will. I've been workshopping that for about a half hour here as I've been getting ready for the show. So we might have
Say it again.
The Holstein interception that absolutely will keep me up at night. Hatakmon.
The Hatakmon. Got it. Love it.
So
Trademark it.
We've got one in each of the first 2 games.
But everything in between those two, he was dialed in.
I mean, 8 touchdown passes through 2 games for Holstein. So if that's going to be the trade-off, I think 4 touchdowns a game for 1 bad interception, I think we might just have to live with that.
I know that we aren't big analytics guys unless they support our viewpoint, but ESPN's QBR really liked his performance, 89.9. He is 12th in the country in QBR.
Yeah, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. We'll talk a little bit more about the things that worry us moving forward when we start playing Power 4 opponents. But I will say that was probably one of my favorite Cade Bell games in a long time. I think he listened to the podcast last week because what did we talk about? A little bit more rhythm.
Dylan called
the ball forward. Take yards when you can. And that first drive was exactly that. It was a lot of quick 5-yard hitches, let your receivers make a play. The runs were going for a couple here and there. A lot of short yardage, third downs. It was beautiful. And beyond that, there were big plays. Receivers were open. Poppy was open. Kenny was open deep. Even whenever plays wouldn't work and like the line would give up some pressure or Holstein would panic and whatever. There are a few plays like that. But in my rewatch, I went back and saw like, oh, if Holstein had one more second, this guy was open over here. Or if he steps up and looks this way instead of that way, he would have saw Poppy on the sideline uncovered. So great game plan. The offense did their job aside from a throw.
Yeah, Dylan, do you remember what you said last week when we were previewing this game?
Not exactly. Was it similar to what I told you was my key to the game in the parking lot? A couple beers in.
Could be conflating the two, absolutely. But beyond the shadow of a doubt, before this game yesterday, you said, I want to see them open it up with some very easy ones for Holstein. Scheme some guys open, short routes that he can make in his sleep, or passes that he can make in his sleep, and let them get some yards after catch. And that's how they opened it up. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, short, easy throws. Don't make them think too hard. Don't make them work too hard, and generate some confidence. And I think that's exactly what we saw. So yeah, Squid, 100%. Really liked what I saw coming from our play caller, Cade Bell.
No
definitely makes me feel pretty good.
Directed at him in the first quarter this time?
None.
No, I kept that in the holster there. He had no reason to get tweeted at today. Yesterday.
No. What else did we see that we liked yesterday? I have a big one if I can start it off. So I don't know why I posed the question to the two of you. I knew I wanted to talk about Zach Crothers.
Yep, he was a bullet point for me as well. It looks like the Pitt Panthers, Tim Dowse, they finally have a defensive end, a real stud at the end. And Jimmy Scott's shown flashes as well, so I don't want to overshadow him. But it seems like yesterday he looked like a dude. Like the Pitt has a dude at the end. Our good friend who works in the athletic department made a comment to us during the game that last year he was just super skinny and came back this year just absolutely yoked, and everyone was like, whoa, that's different. And looks like the off-season work has paid off for him, because yesterday finished with 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. It was the Zach Crothers breakout game, and I am now excited that we have another stud defensive end, something that we've kind of missed the last year and a half, 2 years.
Absolutely. There was a huge question mark coming into the season, that defensive line. I feel pretty good, question mark asterisk, so far, about what I've seen, especially knowing that Jaden Moore was supposed to be, from everything that we heard, that guy in the defensive end room. And, unfortunately, it sounds like he's going to be out a couple weeks. But, that gave, the Zach Crothers of the world the opportunity to get some playing time. And now we know we have a guy who is healthy and available, and we get more coming, later in the year.
Yeah,
my one complaint about him is he looks like Phil Dracovic wearing number 5 from about 80 yards away.
Yeah, you called that out like mid-game, and I was like, oh my God, he does look exactly like Phil when Phil played tight end for a game. But that's neither here nor there. Crothers is kind of a dude who came in with, like, when they signed him, I think there might have been one of those cases of Pitt fans complaining about, oh, why are we taking this guy? But then you look a little deeper at it. So he was a Partridge recruit. Partridge was recruiting him. He had 22 and a half sacks his senior year of high school. Or 22 and a half, 23 and a half. Something like that. He had a lot of sacks in high school. And that's just an absurd number. So clearly there was some talent there, some production in high school, and it's starting to translate. Redshirt freshman. He is a guy who, like we kind of said here, I mean, we're excited about him now, but it's like, oh, okay, a year or two from now, that's going to be another NFL Panther. So maybe getting ahead of ourselves a little bit for one good game against Central Michigan, but some guys just have it.
If there's one thing we're going to do, it's get our hopes up based off of one thing that we saw.
The Loyal Sons would never overreact.
No,
to
never.
A very small sample size. Just like I'm not going to overreact to Mason Heinschel looking very good in his limited action yesterday. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead too much, but I'm just stating that I'm not going to overreact to his 3-for-4 touchdown drive.
We're talking about it now. We might as well talk about it. Do you want to overreact? Let's overreact. Heisman. Mason Heisman.
I tried to find the 2028 Heisman futures on DraftKings. They aren't up yet, but he's climbing. I'm sure of that.
No,
we can just talk about the defense as a whole. Because
yeah,
that was pretty sick. Central Michigan, I don't know if it was like Thursday or Friday, I saw Stephen Thompson tweet a quote from the Central Michigan coach, and they asked him about how they were really bad on third downs last week. And he basically just said, yeah, I don't really care. We weren't trying to get first downs on half of those third downs anyway because they were going to go for it on fourth down. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, this might be an annoying game. And that's exactly what they did. Thankfully, they couldn't run the ball for shit. They even lined up in the Maryland eye a lot of times, and I feel like that never got them more than like 2 yards. So it's hard to tell who was making the stops because it was just such a pile, but everyone was in there, and they made them really one-dimensional. I don't know why they didn't try to pass it more because they couldn't do anything on the ground, but great performance by the defense. The fact that they were so stout didn't really have me worried even when it was a close game.
They also played 3 quarterbacks. Like, everything about that Central Michigan offense, I hated. I hate that team. Like, the way they operate, they're sub out this quarterback to hand the ball off, and then every time he hands the ball off, he fakes a pass over the middle into the pile of debris going on in front of him. And then they sub in this other guy who makes one of the best plays of the day, scrambles, extends third down, and they just bring him off to come bring the next quarterback in to hand the ball. Whatever. It's in the past now, but I just hate how that team operates.
You sound pissed.
Yeah, I am a little pissed off. That team, the defense, I thought for the most part played really solid, other than, giving Central Michigan great field position right before the end of the half on the turnover. Other than that, really only allowed 1 touchdown drive. And one thing to call out, they played pretty much that entire game, like 3/4 of that game, with 2 freshman cornerbacks. Rashad Battle was out with the hand, had a cast on his hand yesterday. Tamon Lynham started the game, but ended up going out. I want to say it was in the first quarter. I remember watching him jog off the field, and didn't see him after that. So the rest of the game was Shadarian Harrison and Sean Lee. And they held their own. Obviously, the Central Michigan passing attack wasn't too lethal. They did have a little bit of success, but I thought, getting those two on the field and them playing that many reps this early, Shadarian Harrison's redshirt freshman, but Sean Lee, true freshman. Those guys are getting very, very vital experience. And on the flip side of that, has me a little nervous that depending on the status of Lynham in battle, we could be going into the rest of our season with two freshmen at cornerback. But I thought they did a fair job yesterday.
Definitely something I'm worried about, especially after having just watched the condenser. They were able to pass the ball kind of effectively on us. They did the whole 3 quarterback thing, but their 3 quarterbacks went 20 of 26, 177 yards and a touchdown. So kind of a little bit of a worry. I still have some feelings about Javon McIntyre. I wish I didn't. And it was magnified watching the condensed game. There was third quarter. I don't remember the exact situation, third or fourth quarter, but absolute rainbow of an out route that I think anybody with a pulse could have stepped in front of and taken to the house. And he gave up a catch, like played the guy from behind instead of attacking the ball. And it was just like, what are you doing? And got burned last week. I don't know, a little worried about it. Not worried about Cruz Brookins, though.
Yeah. Cruz Brookins, every time he makes a play, it's like, welcome back, Paris Ford. Like the number 12, playing safety, like the mannerisms, played at Steel Valley. It is kind of crazy how much he reminds me of Paris Ford. But yeah, absolutely just comes up and lights people up. Feel like it's just a matter of time before he jumps a deep ball and has a pick six. That dude's a ball player, and once again, like Pitt taking a lowly recruited high school player. He was committed to Kent State like going into the playoffs of his senior year. And then I think Syracuse came in and offered him late, and then Pitt ultimately offered him late and landed him and brought him in. And here he is, redshirt sophomore, already making plays and looks to be, we said this last week, but next in the line of successful Pat Narduzzi safeties.
I bet he's pumped he didn't lose 62-14 to Texas Tech yesterday.
Yeah, it would be a damn shame if a guy like Cruz Brookins was just wasting away at Kent State.
Or if he was running sprints on the field after an overtime win against UConn.
I think he made the right choice. I really do.
For those of you who aren't as perpetually online and on social media as us, Fran Brown at Syracuse was making Syracuse run sprints after the game yesterday on the field. Just ultimate, like, old school, hardo, like, football coach move, making your players run sprints after the game.
Reminds me of Miracle on Ice.
Again.
Slightly different stakes, but yes.
Are you saying that Syracuse couldn't have stopped the spread of communism by beating UConn?
If they lost, who knows?
True. That's very true. Defense looks stout. We knew going into West Virginia, they'd need to prove that they can stop the run. I don't know how necessary that's going to be anymore. We'll talk about West Virginia's game in a little bit here, but just to wrap up the positives for what we saw yesterday, I want to talk about the run game. Now, I'd been bitching about the run game, pretty much the entire Cade Bell tenure, and I've made peace with the fact that establishing the run is not really a part of his offense. The run game exists to set up the passing game, diversify the play calling a little bit, and if Des Reed can break one, which he does just about every game, then that's awesome. So I readjusted my expectations. I just want the run game to be functional, so we stop staring down the barrel of 3rd and 10 twice a drive. That is my new expectation. And I'm happy to report that even though, we only averaged 4.8 yards a carry, we ended up 26 rushes, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, which honestly still pretty good. I'm happy with what I saw yesterday because we were getting 4 yards on first down. And at this point, that is all I care about from this run game, is getting 4 yards on first down. And it allowed us to keep the playbook more open. And we immediately, Eli wasn't constantly in 3rd and long situations. And the result, Pitt was 6 for 9, nice, on 3rd downs against Central Michigan.
Nice.
That is 66%. Last year, we were 88th in the country in 3rd down conversion, somewhere in the 30s, and we were not great against Duquesne on 3rd down. So I really liked what I saw in terms of getting push on the line, getting critical yardage on early downs, and making it easier for Eli and company on 2nd and 3rd.
I mean, the passing game has been really good. So maybe when we play these other teams, West Virginia, they'll loosen up a little bit, afraid of Holstein's arm, and that'll open up some more lanes for Des Reed.
Can I ask you guys, what do you guys think of using Eli as a threat in the running game? More or less about what they've been doing. 4 for 36 yesterday. I think a sack or 2 are included in that. There was also a design run that they called that got called back on a holding, but was a really nice play call. Eli made a pretty interesting comment in the post-game presser that he's not really planning to slide this year because that's what got him hurt last year, which I've also started to see that more and more. I feel like it's happening more and more in both college and the NFL. These defenders are just going for it, like trying to catch the quarterback before they slide. And if they get a free shot on a sliding quarterback, maybe just eat the 15 yards. Maybe not the most ethical way to play, but it's also, I don't think defenders are really just waiting for quarterbacks to slide anymore. But yeah, so all that to say, what do we think of Eli just running the ball more? Because he's been an effective runner when he, maybe not designed, even though they have done some design runs with him, but like when he tucks and goes, he's an athlete.
I think part of it is he's a big dude. It's not like he's a frail, skinny, like speedster where like if you hit him solid, he's going to go flying. I think he's smart too. Like he's elusive enough to not take shots like square on if he's running. So yeah, I'm fine with it. I don't slide. Who cares?
Yeah, more importantly, he's good at
slide.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, fake a slide. Yeah, that's illegal now. Kenny Pickett rule.
Yeah.
No, I mean he's good at it. He's effective. There was at least one play. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have to bring it up where we had 4th and 1, and instead of he ran up to the line of scrimmage while scrambling, and instead of reaching the ball forward for what would have been a first down, tried to launch one up to Poppy and left it a little short. But he's an effective runner. He shouldn't be afraid to run. Am I worried he could get injured? Yes, that's always going to be a risk, though. And this year we have some pretty decent backups, I think, if it ever came to it. But he's our short yardage back. Cade Bell doesn't believe in skilled position guys over 175 pounds. So when we need hard fought yardage on, short yardage situations, it's got to be Holstein, and he's good at it, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I was going to say that he is our big back. I mean, he is definitely the heaviest player who will play in that backfield this season. So, okay. Yeah, I think.
I'm not saying give him the Riley Leonard treatment and
no.
wear him down by the second quarter. But, yeah.
There's a reason Haynes King didn't play this week.
I think he's been really good at tucking and running. I think sometimes there's a few times when he panics and he's like, I should still try to pass this and should just tuck it and run, or vice versa. He gets the happy feet. But whenever it looks good, it's impossible to stop.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts about the game before we move on to something maybe a little bit more exciting for me personally?
Go for it.
Awesome. So if any of you were tuned in to ESPN2 for the 4 p.m. slate yesterday, you saw West Virginia walk into Athens, Ohio, and just kind of get handled by a MAC team in a MAC stadium. Like and kind of like a no doubter too. It ended up 17-10. Did you guys watch this game at all?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. OU went up 17-3 and then just sat on them in the second half. It was remarkable. West Virginia could not pass the ball. They could not run the ball. And we're talking about a MAC defensive front that got gouged by Rutgers in week 1. Rutgers 6 yards a pop every play, like clockwork. Ran for 150 yards against OU, and that's counting for about 30 yards lost in sacks. Really had their way with them. I admittedly, as an OU alum, was a little bit worried about this game because hard edge, pound the rock. But West Virginia went 28 carries, 72 yards. They averaged 2.6 yards per carry against a MAC school, and one that had to portal their entire defensive front because they got ravaged after winning the MAC last year.
And the crazy thing about it was it could have gone two ways. West Virginia could have taken advantage of a lot of OU mistakes.
Yeah.
They had so many delay of games, false starts. There's some bad snaps. And on top of that, 3 interceptions. Some gave West Virginia short fields, and they just didn't capitalize on any of it. So West Virginia had chances to take that game back. But on the other side, OU had plenty of chances to pull away and win that game like 27-10, and they just didn't. So, yeah, it was 17-10, and they had the ball with a chance to tie it at the end, kind of. But that could have gotten out of hand if Parker Navarro was a little bit less trigger happy.
That's what you sign up for when your quarterback's a gunslinger. Does that sound familiar? No, you're exactly right. So Parker Navarro, who I think is just awesome, and if you haven't watched him play football, he is appointment viewing, good or bad. He threw picks on 3 consecutive drives in the second half with a 7-point lead. 3 consecutive drives in West Virginia territory. The 3 corresponding West Virginia drives, after getting the ball back, a lifeline, down a score, 3 plays, 0 yards and a punt, 3 plays, 7 yards and a punt, 3 plays, negative 14 yards and a punt.
Yeah, watching West Virginia was bizarre. Like, Jaheim White got hurt. Like that.
That's brutal.
And
yeah.
That seems to be their biggest weapon. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say he won't play Saturday, but that's a safe bet, I think.
Jaheim White got face masked, horse collared, and hip dropped in one move. I've never seen anything like it. And the knee wasn't looking great. He had to get carted off.
So it was so funny in the preseason. We talked about it as outsiders. The West Virginia fans took Rich Rodriguez saying we're going to play 3 or 4 quarterbacks a game as a positive, as in they have 3 or 4 capable quarterbacks. And wouldn't you know, that wasn't the case. Nico looked bad.
He looked really bad.
He didn't do anything. And they put in Jalen Henderson, I believe was his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Texas A&M transfer. He came in and did not attempt to pass. He was just like a running quarterback, I guess.
Oh, no, he attempted a pass. He just did not complete one.
But they didn't have any intention of trying to pass with it. He was in there to run the ball, and that also didn't work. So they went back to Nico at the end, and this team is weird. I don't know. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. I'm still worried. It's a backyard brawl, but they did not look good in pretty much any way, shape, or form.
We're going to tiptoe around it because we know as Pitt fans, cosmically, we experience revenge or karma or whatever from the universe at a disproportionate level to other fans. We can just say it, though. West Virginia's bad. This is a bad football team. They looked horrendous, and Pitt should beat them. I'm not saying Pitt will beat them because, again, I have now spoken into the universe, and God is going to punish me, maybe. But this is a bad football team that Pitt should handle. It's a rivalry. Crazy things will happen. It'll still end up being a close game. Pitt is much better than this football team.
That almost scares me more, to be honest.
And it should.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that they are bad scares me more. We're going to do a preview on the West Virginia game later this week. We'll do a separate episode where we can fully devote ourselves to the brawl. But, man, I must say it was nice just sitting back and watching them take an L in Athens, Ohio. Some chatter of could West Virginia get game day for the brawl? I don't actually think we would have gotten it. I think it was bound to go to the SEC.
I don't know. Both McAfee and Herbstreit said something to the extent of, if both teams handle business, brawl game day, but West Virginia didn't, so no. So I think it would have happened.
I guess we'll never know.
No. I can't believe the hubris of West Virginia fans, man. Like the roster turnover they had, bringing back a coach that hasn't really been that successful in any meaningful way since his last stint at West Virginia. For them to think that this was going to be a formidable football program, and then to brag all week about taking over Athens, Ohio. I saw a million tweets about it on the Loyal Sons timeline. First of all, congrats on taking over a town of 20,000 people that does not go to football games ever. And then you didn't. Every time they panned to the crowd, it was very clearly a majority Cutler green and white. And you lost. You lost. Unbelievable. Attendance is all that matters, though. So, good on them for showing up like 45% of the crowd of the 20,000 capacity stadium.
What did Vivid Seats say?
I'll double check that.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. OU was blasting Country Roads in the locker room.
As they should.
As they should. I
Imagine
loved
losing
it.
to a MAC school. Couldn't be us.
Couldn't be us this year.
Is OU going to win the MAC? Like, are they that level?
They should. I really think that they should. Toledo's good. Miami of Ohio is frisky, but especially based on what I've seen against two power opponents, I really think that they should repeat. I will say, though, their out-of-conference schedule this year is hilarious. At Rutgers, home against West Virginia, and next week they're going to Columbus. They're playing OSU at the Shoe. So if
Buckeyes
everybody
are on alert.
Buckeyes are on alert. No, but if they survive, if everyone is healthy from that 70-point loss, I still think they run through the MAC. And that was your OU 15 minutes. Thank you guys so much. I know I'm never going to get this opportunity again. This made me so happy.
That was all I could think of as that game was progressing, is we finally have to give David the OU segment of the podcast that he's been begging for years.
He asked to take over the Twitter earlier in the week, and I was like, look, if you hype up OU all week and then they lose to West Virginia, and then if more bad things happen in the following weeks, we're cooked. So tread lightly. If they win, have at it. And that they did. So good work, David.
Thank you. It was all me. Roll Cats, bleed green, up the bobbies. Athens happens. OU, oh yeah.
So what happens whenever Pitt at 10-3 faces off against OU in the Sun Bowl?
We'll meet them in the playoff.
Okay, sure.
Oh, when that happens?
Yeah, what will happen?
I don't want to say it.
Careful.
I don't want to say it. Gotta support your alma mater.
Oh my god. All right. I think
before this gets off the rails, let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Any final thoughts around college football? Anything else that or we consumed with West Virginia losing? And that's where we want to leave this one.
I had one thing. A lot of really fun games yesterday. The primetime game, Michigan versus Oklahoma. Fun lesson to be learned during the NIL era. Just because a school's willing to give you $10 million doesn't mean they have any plans to utilize your skill set in any meaningful way. Michigan doesn't have a clue what to do with Bryce Underwood.
Yeah, could it also be that he's just a true freshman and is just not ready to play at this level, but a booster gave him $10 million and they have to play him?
That too.
Another lesson of the NIL era, but I think we've seen a few schools get burnt with that. But
a kid that has Cam Newton comps not having like a designed run through 2 games, and he's on the sidelines fighting their running back. Cautionary tale, boys. Cautionary tale.
Weird day for the ACC. Started off Friday. Louisville had a little bit of a scare against JMU. Then we had, I just pressed the wrong button. Syracuse almost lost to UConn at home. SMU had a very entertaining game that ended in a loss in overtime. Virginia Tech got shelled by Vanderbilt. Stanford looked like the worst team ever again. Boston College lost. Clemson, they were down 14, 16, something weird to Troy.
Now.
Yeah, and they pulled it out, but what is going on in Clemson? Duke got manhandled.
That game was a lot closer than the score indicates, but yeah, they lost to Illinois.
But Bill Belichick, he got a win, so we had that.
You see, he said that he wait, no, I don't even want to repeat this because I'm worried I might have gotten God on Twitter, but I saw something say that he won't allow Patriots scouts in their facility.
That is true.
That is true.
Yeah, they asked Mike Vrabel about it, and he was like, everyone has their opinions and can make their own decisions.
As I was saying that out loud, I was like, I had to have gotten God. There's no way that's true. That's hilarious.
Hilarious, and also like, you're a prospective player or a current player, you're just going to limit the NFL eyeballs on me while I'm trying to make it to the next level. Not a great look.
Especially considering the best player to come out of the school you are coaching in years is the starting quarterback for the organization you won't allow in your building. What an asshole.
Can't say we should be too surprised about that. You guys touched on the ones I really wanted to focus on, but what the hell? Box score of the day as you're scrolling through the ESPN app or whatever app you use to look at scores. Oregon just beat Oklahoma State 69-3. And I know that Oklahoma State's not going to be very good this year, but just on the back of Mike Gundy's comments about how much Oregon spends on their roster and Lanning kind of firing back, for them to just go in there and just stomp them by 60 plus points is kind of awesome. I'm not
Mike
even
Gundy has to
anti-Gundy.
go.
He's got to be done.
That is just such a dumb, sad way for him to end his career.
Also, the irony of the Oklahoma State head coach saying that when your football program was bought and paid for and built by one oil billionaire. Are you kidding me? T-Boone, you were a nothing football program before T-Boone Pickens just left all of his money. It just spent decades dumping millions and millions and millions of dollars into the OSU athletics program. Are you kidding me?
How funny it would be if Mike Gundy, what do you say? We might cover up our Nike swooshes on the jerseys. What if Nike was like, yeah, please do. You are embarrassing us.
Phil Knight just drops them.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, go to Adidas like all these other schools. We don't want you. Maybe they'll give you like $50,000 a year.
Is Russell Athletics still around?
There's just no chance.
Duke is in the game.
Ohio was a Russell school like while I was there.
Was it just them and Georgia Tech?
I think so. All this stuff was so ugly.
I think we can leave it there. This was this was a good episode. We got to celebrate a comfortable, for 90% of the game, comfortable Pitt win, a West Virginia loss to a MAC school. I think that's a great way to roll into Brawl Week. We're gonna hop on the mics again sometime this week, give a real thorough breakdown of the brawl. Fellas, don't get too high, don't get too low. Got to stay focused. Remember your manners. Please win. Please beat West Virginia. But we'll be back to preview that later this week. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. And as always, hail loyal sons of Pittsburgh.